Happy Friday, everybody. How is everyone doing? I hope everybody is having a good Friday, that their week hasn't been too rough. Hey, Melody. Hey, Tina. How are you, ladies? So, just a couple of things that I want to talk about before we really get into everything during this live stream. First things first is this is not going to be me rehashing everything that I have gone through or that I have experienced with BX. I have a number of videos that go through the entire situation. I will be sure to have those linked in the description. For anyone who doesn't know my particular situation, I will probably reference parts of it, but this is not for me to rehash everything that I experienced. But with that being said, the caveat is a lot of what I had experienced and gone through with this creator has unfortunately been the situation that he has continued to perpetuate onto other creators on this platform. I will also go ahead and say here, I am uncomfortable with doing this live stream. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you guys can tell. There's different reasons why I'm uncomfortable about doing this live stream, but I do believe that everybody has the right to be heard, so to speak. And that this is not so much for my voice to be heard, but for everybody who has been on the receiving end of not just BX, but any creator who perpetuates the kind of environment that he has been perpetuating. I really didn't want to talk about this creator again after my last video, and I did draw a good boundary, and I said I wasn't going to unless behaviors got to a point where I needed to. And when certain things were being sent to me, I was appalled that what had happened to me more behind the scenes was now happening at the forefront. And some people, some creators have unfortunately gotten the wrath that I personally don't think was deserved, but everybody can stand in their opinion on that. I want everybody to be respectful. I want people who, whether you support him or not, to be respectful of whatever your position is or whoever comes into this chat. This is really to have a discussion. This is not to bash anybody. It's really to bring attention to a creator's problematic behavior. We do it with Katie. We have been doing it for months with Katie, and everybody is always so shy to really address the behaviors with BX. And personally, I think a lot of the reason is because he does this tactic where he will attack you if you say anything that is not in agreement with him. And I don't say attack lightly, and I don't mean it as I think what most people think when they hear that word, but a lot of the time when someone does speak out or even gives the slightest bit of criticism, whether it's a creator, a commenter, or anything, they are lashed out upon. Not only by the creator of the channel, but also some of his very strong supportive fans. And there's nothing against that. However, when you perpetuate that you allow criticism and your channel is open to that, but anybody who brings that is shut down, it's not a healthy environment. It's really not. And I had the conversation with myself that I think this should be talked about, because what has been happening and what continues to happen is very problematic. I have no issue calling out other problematic behavior. Why is he any different? And a lot of it is just because I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to have another drama because it's really not what my channel is about. But I was having this internal argument, clearly. And I did draw that boundary. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to the general public, my audience, anybody who may come across either the tweet or the community post allowing people to vote. And I respect and appreciate all of the people who gave me feedback. I understand where people were suggesting not to get involved, not to continue it, not to give it the attention. I understand that. I really do. That's why I put it out on for a public vote, for it to be really you guys' opinion on if you wanted to hear my opinions and talk about some of the things that have been going on. And clearly the majority of the vote was yes. So going into this, I do want everybody to be respectful. I do have a couple of moderators today, so I'm giving them free reign to block anybody that they think needs to be blocked and delete comments that they think are inappropriate to have on the channel. I'm really not going to pay attention 100% to the chat, but I am going to be referencing it as we have this discussion because I want it to be a discussion, not just me sitting here talking. And I will go ahead and openly say that I have unblocked BX and his moderators or anyone who had left me disgusting messages before. Everybody has been unblocked from my channel so that this is a fair conversation. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not afraid if somebody comes in. However, just be on the awareness that if somebody comes in and is acting a fool or is being really rude to either myself or others, the moderators are given the go ahead to do what they think is necessary. So with all of that being said, I do want to refer to the chat. I just wanted to get a couple of disclaimers, kind of explain why I'm doing this, because I do know it's going to upset some of my supporters who have been here for a while. So I do want to go ahead and say hi to everybody who has joined and go ahead and get into this conversation. Hey, Pika. Hey, Diane, sorry. Hey, Off Duty Beauty. Thank you guys for the compliments. Hey, Liz. Hey, Sarah. Captain T. Hey, Xylie. Hey, Judy. Hey, Sue. Hey, Advent. Yeah, I've not really understood Advent, the Goon Squad, and I'm fairly new to knowing who is a part of the Goon Squad. I've watched some of those creators without even knowing that they were kind of in this pact type mentality. Hey, Naughty Audie. Yeah, and I understand that a lot of people are just now seeing this behavior. Unfortunately, I think BX has just gotten comfortable and think that because he's gone so many years without being called out, that no one was going to call him out, that he could continue on this pattern. The reality of the situation is BX Beast Boy has been doing this kind of behavior for a couple of years now. This is not the first time he's done this. This is the first time he has decided to lash out amongst so many. It seems his behavior tends to usually be geared towards one or two creators at a time. But in recent history, it seems that he has kind of decided to provide his opinions and have what he calls debates with a lot of people who were actually supporting him. But this has been going on since the first issue I know about is Zales, and I think that started in 2019, if I'm not incorrect. So, I mean, he's gone through a number of people he's doing this to. It's unfortunate. It really is. I don't know if these... What's confusing is I don't know if this is how BX really feels about people, and these are his genuine feelings, or if he is doing it to stir up a community. I'm not sure. And you know, the only one who could answer that is him. However, he refuses to take any kind of criticism. And, you know, that we're human. Sometimes hearing things is hard, but what makes it frustrating is he tries to push out to anybody new to his channel or anyone who doesn't watch all of his content that he's this nice, honest guy. He's very good at manipulating his audience. And I will personally admit, I was also manipulated. You know, again, I'm not going to go into every detail of my situation, but it does ring true to what's current people have been experiencing over the last few weeks. Is you support him, but you do one thing or you say one little thing that he does not agree with, and all of a sudden you are his arch nemesis. You are his enemy. He wants to tear you apart. And when you have a smaller platform than someone else, they are seen as more, I mean, inherently, they are just seen as having more credibility because they have a larger audience. It is also a power thing. I'm not saying he's using his power all the time. He does abuse it. I will say that I've been on the receiving end of that with proof that he instigated his Discord at the time to come into my chat. That's an abuse of power. It really is. As a creator, especially, not to make it a platform size issue, but it is hard for a new creator who has a smaller platform to be inundated when they have never had hate before, when they are inundated all of a sudden with negative comments about anything, about their appearance, about their opinions, about their content in general. I mean, nobody wants to be on the receiving end of that. No one. And no one really should be. But the problem with bxbeastboy is he pushes that. Behind the scenes, that's what he pushes. He pushes for people who are a part of his fang to make sure that whatever he is thinking or supporting is what's put out. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. And hopefully, I mean, I hope for the best that people change. Who only they can tell. I know a lot of people are afraid to talk out. It's just because of the targeting that does end up happening if you do. There's been people who have left comments on videos who have disclosed to myself and other creators that they then got nasty messages because their comment was shown and he made comments upon that comment that was left enough room for people to think that he wanted them to go after and address things. And then to see that he's having these debates, personally, from all of the ones that I have listened to or have been sent parts of, I don't know if he understands what a debate is. And I don't mean that negatively. A debate is where you typically will have a back and forth about different opinions. In the clips that I have heard of him debating, whether it's Katie Joy or True Ball of Wax in the most recent time, even the other channel that's been problematic, Real Entertainment News, he speaks over and he just perpetuates and he twists what somebody is saying as a point. That's not really what a debate is. In my personal opinion, he's not very respectful, which if you're having a legitimate debate, you are going to be respectful and allow the opposing side to speak. I mean, this behavior is just continuing to unravel in some degree. I don't know in more recent times if this has continued. The last I was informed of, it was the True Ball of Wax situation. I understand he's kind of gone after a few other creators who were doing nothing but supporting him. I don't understand. I don't, and I don't know if any of his supporters are listening or watching, or if anybody in the chat is a supporter of his. I don't know if he's explained that or if he genuinely thinks that what he is doing is providing criticism to others. I'm not sure. And if that is the case, then I hope he'd be willing to listen to what some of the other creators have said in regards to his behavior. You think that those are interrogations? I mean, they could fall under that. I feel like that's a little bit of a harsh term to use, but I can understand where someone may feel that those were more of interrogations than having conversations. Yeah, I can agree with that, you used to appreciate him because he promotes critical thinking, but he has an echo chamber and lashes out at anybody who disagrees with him. I mean, that statement in itself is kind of contradictory because it goes to show the manipulation that he is putting on his viewers. I'm a critical thinker. I want you guys to think of all points. I don't want to be biased, but if you don't agree with me, I'm going to call you out in either a video or I'm going to lash out at you during the live stream and say you're not a part of the Fang Gang and make you feel like shit about yourself. That's not promoting critical thinking. That's a manipulation tactic. It really is. And I think he promotes his critical thinking. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's not critical thinking when it's just your opinion. If you're critically thinking out loud, then you're going to discuss both sides. You're going to say, this is what I think. However, I can see it being this way too. I have not seen him honestly provide that kind of platform ever. Even when I was a subscriber to him, it was very much his opinion and this is why it's his opinion. And if you don't agree with that, then your logic must be skewed in some way. That is an echo chamber. That's perpetuating only what you want to have perpetuated. Hey, Pippi, I'm glad you joined. You're saying that he promotes critical thinking but doesn't practice it. Yeah, I can see that. And to some degree, I wonder how much he even actually promotes it. Just saying that you promote critical thinking, making that comment doesn't necessarily mean that you're allowing people to have that critical thinking occur. Yeah, collecting receipts on bxbeastboy is a whole nother thing. If none of you guys know or have watched Xylie Gets Real, who is in the chat, I would highly implore you to go to her channel and listen to her series on bxbeastboy because she has miraculously somehow been able to collect a lot of receipts, a lot which have been deleted, to be a third party and lay everything out for anyone who may have a question or is confused to some area. She has done a very good job at covering different situations that bxbeastboy has put himself in and how he has treated other people, whether that is a subscriber, a moderator, his Discord, which from my understanding, both his Twitter and his Discord have been deleted. I don't know how true that rings. I know his Twitter is not there, but I don't know about his Discord. I don't know enough about Discord to be able to even check. Yeah, Xylie, I agree. You don't want an echo chamber. If you want someone to disagree with you, you welcome the conversation. Yeah, I've always been open about having a conversation. It's just a lot of people won't actually speak out against because they feel that if they do, they risk getting targeted because of communities like bxbeastboys. He's not the only one, but people like BX who say that they allow people to speak, and then when they do, they get targeted. It makes people feel that they can't. And so they're afraid or they're hesitant when they go into anybody else's chat to really speak their mind because they're afraid that the creator is going to make them feel stupid or feel like shit or feel disregarded when maybe they went out on a limb that one time to provide their opinion and they got shot down. Like, I promote people to talk in my chats and sometimes people do come out with disagreeing, but oftentimes I don't think it's as many that would like to because of that fear factor. I mean, that's my honest opinion. Yeah, we all have difference of opinions. We all see things differently. We all have different encounters with different, and we all are people. We're all individual. We're all going to deal with situations and creators and situations differently, and that's fine. That's why I have always, and I will continue and say it now, if you support him, that's fine. That is your business. That is not my business to know who you support, and it is not my intention to tell you not to support him. However, I am going to provide my experience and some of the crappy behaviors that he has done as a creator, just as well as I have done that to Katie Joy, just as much as it's being done to James Charles, just as much as it's been done to John Swan, just as much as it's done to all of these other commentators and YouTubers. You run the risk of people criticizing you and calling out crappy behavior. And just like with Katie Joy, my intention on calling out these experiences that I have had or situations that I know others have had, it is more as a red flag to the creator. Like, hey, can you hear me out? This is what happened. Everybody wants to jump on the cancel culture train. I'm sorry, I have a video that I'm going to be filming. I don't believe in cancel culture, because if cancel culture was a thing, a lot of problematic people wouldn't still have platforms. A lot of dangerous people wouldn't still have platforms. You choose to cancel yourself. And unfortunately, in bxbeastboy's situation, he has often ran with they're canceling me, they're targeting me, they're telling lies about me, when in actuality, that was not occurring. To the point that I had to make a receipt video, and I never make receipts videos, to be able to show everybody that what was being pushed about what had happened was false. I don't care if you don't want to like me or if you don't want to subscribe to me, but I don't want people to think I did something that I didn't do. That's like being charged with a crime that you didn't commit. You want to clear your name. And if people still see those and don't care for me, don't like me, don't want to be a subscriber of mine, I totally understand that and respect that. But at least please see, not only with my situation, but almost every creator he's talked negatively about, take a step back and look at how that creator is. Some of these creators refuse to even address him because they think that that's what he wants. They think he is trolling and he's wanting them to grab the bait so that he can continue to respond to their responses. And that's why a lot of people didn't want me to do this live stream. He can go ahead and say whatever he wants about me. And as I drew that boundary before, if I have to come out with more receipts, which I do have, I will. I don't want to. I don't want to continue to engage in anything, but people need to be able to talk and express how they're feeling and negative, toxic things that are happening. And unfortunately, bxbeastboy is creating a very negative and toxic environment. Look at his content. It's very negative, which is fine. If he wants to promote a negative channel, that's his business. But don't expect people to not call it out, especially when you have affected them. And don't, for anyone, I've always said, do not invalidate other people's experiences. Just like I don't care that he put out his experience on how he felt that me and another creator had dogpiled him. And I acknowledge that I can understand why he felt that way. But I also explained how it happened and why things happened the way they did. But that is not acknowledged to him because he wants to perpetuate that we did him dirty. And if you really go to the root of things, most of the time he's doing himself dirty because he is so paranoid that he thinks things are happening that aren't happening. I made a video defending him, a full freaking video defending him. Had a conversation with him in private. And then because things were still happening, I went to my platform to talk to my subscribers. And I got manipulated. I got gaslit to the point that I was crying on screen, which is way out of my character. And since then, have I said that he bullied me? Yeah, I have. Because honestly, if you look at that situation, take me out of it, put a random person in it, that is exactly what happened. And it's exactly what is continuing to happen to multiple creators. It happened to True Ball of Wax in front of people's eyes. It happened to T-Spiracy. It happened to Zales. It happened to Vic. It happened to me. It happened to Radiant Brit. It happened to Sloan. It happened to Dad Challenge Podcast. It happened to The Glarer. It happened to Real Entertainment News, even though he has his own set of issues. I mean, I could continue to name creators that he has done this stuff to. And because for whatever reason, if it's because no one was calling him out and he felt safe, if it was because he felt he needed to be heard in how he was feeling about all of these creators, for some reason, it has escalated recently. And just like in one of Xylie's videos, the damage that he has done to some people is very scary, affecting like their personal lives and how they feel personally. That's the scary part. That's the really scary part. I'm going to drink some water, and if you guys have opinions or parts that you want to talk about, please leave them in the comments. I'm going to start referring to you guys' comments and having a discussion from there. You think he needs a different strain of weed? I mean, I don't partake. I know plenty of people who do. My concern with that, and this is a legitimate, serious concern, is he talks about how he has mental health. I hope he is making sure what he is doing with the marijuana is in alliance with what he should be doing to treat his mental health. That is my concern. As somebody who is in social work and who deals with mental health and substance abuse quite often and have throughout my entire professional career, if you are self-medicating, it can be a problem. And I really hope he's not self-medicating. And if he is, I hope he is seeking appropriate authority in that. That is a genuine concern of mine. But if he hears that, what he says is, I have something against marijuana. I really don't. I have family members who smoke weed. I've been around weed before. I don't have an issue with marijuana or weed or THC, whatever you want to call it. If it's not affecting your life, if it's not affecting how you function, then I don't care. The problem when you're using illegal drugs, if they're illegal where you're at or in an illegal quantity, there's a reason for that. I mean, that's just the truth. Sorry if people don't agree with me on that, but I'm sorry just for the tea. I mean, see, we have people in chat who are saying that they posted a criticism or set an like, hey, please don't do this, and they got attacked. Like, but he has a healthy environment on his channel. His content is super healthy. It's not negative. It doesn't promote toxicity. I mean, but we have people in chat who are disclosing that they have been on the receiving end of this, who are not creators. That is a huge issue to me, is the fact that some of the people who get affected and who get targeted are not a creator. If you're not a creator, you should not be targeted. You should, as a creator, you should make sure that you are promoting that if you are going to provide criticism to somebody, that you're protecting them to some degree. In your honest opinion, you think he sees his house of cards falling and he's lashing out? He knows that people know how he is. The facade is broken. I mean, that could be. It could be that he's lashing out. It could be, I mean, in all honesty, if he genuinely has the diagnoses he's talked about, he genuinely could be, it could be a reason, not as an excuse, but it could explain the behaviors that we've seen over the last few months. You think he's afraid of Xylie? I don't know if he's afraid of Xylie. I find it interesting that he's willing to bring attention to anybody but Xylie. And I think it's because Xylie comes in with the receipts and he can't really argue the receipts. Anytime a creator or people with criticism of how Xylie has done her videos on him, it typically is more, they're not really going after or trying to, I don't know the right word. They're not really trying to argue the receipts. They're trying to argue what Xylie is saying as her opinion, which you can argue people's opinions all day, but that doesn't mean that the facts don't change. That's what I've seen. With Xylie's channel, I've seen that with other people's channels. And, you know, I do understand that, you know, this whole live stream is likely to stir up him to talk about me. And at this point, I go ahead. I don't have any criminal history that you can dig up. I don't have anything that you can dig up. I've been honest about my activity online, which, to be honest, is creepy if I'm being followed as a creator that much that he knows I've been in other people's chats and lives. But that's okay. I mean, if he wants to do that, and anything else is just going to be his opinion, and he is entitled to his opinions just as much as I am, and I'm not going to watch it. Honestly, I have watched bits and pieces of his content recently because it's sent to me, but I don't watch his content anymore. I haven't pretty much since August when all of this stuff happened, because I don't want to watch a content creator who I used to respect and admire speak poorly. And since I had been on the receiving end of how he treats people, I could see how he was continuing to perpetuate that within his chats to other creators and to subscribers. And I was disgusted. So I stopped trying to watch his content. And I mean, it is what it is. You're right. I mean, he is making money. The person who's coined sad fishing, from what I saw on the internet, in my opinion, is one of the biggest sad fishes of them all, because every time he talks poorly about a creator or stirs up issues within his content, he will then go on a live stream very upset, sad fishing for his loyal subscribers to send him super chats and send him money, which is very much what sad fishing is, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the stuff with Sloan is hard to deal with, and I've always kind of stayed out of mentioning it because it's evident to most people that I'm friends with Sloan and I'm friends with Radiant Brit, and I've tried to leave them out of this live stream because I don't want them to end up associated with this in any way. But for anyone who doesn't know of how all of my issues happened, I will be linking all of the videos down below, or at least my last video, and I'm going to link Xylie's channel. But I made a video in defense of him. He got mad. We had a private conversation. Things were still continuing. I came to my platform to talk to my subscribers because I had been deleting comments, which I had said I would never do, and I wanted to address it because I have transparency with my subscribers. And I got inundated during that live stream. I got gaslit. I got manipulated. It is what it is. So then Britt happened to come on to the live stream, and she saw I was upset, and she told me to talk to her when I got off the live stream. which, to be honest, I would do that to almost any creator, whether I knew them or not. I have done that to creators that I've never spoken to before. And I was in one of their live streams and they got emotional and I reached out to them. And from that point on, Britt was then associated with being a terrible person just like me, because all she did was come into my chat and say, talk to me when you get off. And then Sloan promoted me in one of his videos. And then all of a sudden, bxbeastboy has an issue with Sloan. I don't know if stuff was going on that I'm unaware of, but it's kind of ironic when all the people that he now is attacking, except for Josh and the Glare, they had never really talked about me before, which is not a big deal, but they became... Both Sloan and Britt, I think, were a bystander because they supported me whenever I was being drugged. Thank you, Just Britt, for putting in Xylie's link. No, EA, don't apologize. There's no topic that we're not talking about at all. I'm not like that. Talk about whatever you want. I don't know if it's jealousy. I really don't. I don't know what it is. And it's just speculative at this point. All we can really do is address and at least acknowledge. You can still support somebody, you can still like somebody, but be able to acknowledge where their faults are. I have debates with my channel members, especially in our live streams that we do. They constantly will bring up concerns with me or content that they don't want me to make anymore. And we'll have conversations about it. It's part of being an adult. You're not going to agree with everything, and it doesn't mean that you won't support them anymore. You can address his weird, crappy behavior and still support him, as long as you know that there's a potential, if you disagree with him, that you're going to be the one receiving that. That's your choice. Hey, Miss Cassandra, thanks for joining. I don't know where the disconnect with Josh is. I really don't. I know BX had started to partially shade Josh when Josh was talking about the Long situation. He would kind of throw shade at anybody who talked about it and said that it wasn't our place to talk about it. In general, he was throwing blanketed statements. So I don't know if that's what started it. And then I don't know what perpetuated it, because shortly after is whenever I stopped watching his content. The only creator he has openly said has support, there's only been 2 creators that he has mentioned and has not subsequently had a falling out with that I'm aware of. Every issue has turned into a race issue. I've stayed away from that just because I am a white lady. I don't think it's my place to sit here and say that what he feels is invalid, because that can be perceived that way. Most of you guys know, if you know me, I don't need to try and convince you guys of otherwise. Yeah, Sabrina, I heard about the Carolyn stuff. I haven't gone back and watched it. To be honest, at this point, watching him go after and manipulate who is still willing to support him to attack these other women is really hard, and it is really not upsetting in a crying way, in a frustrating way. It's really upsetting for me to not want to defend them, because I know how it feels. But I know it doesn't get anywhere. That's why I wanted to have an open conversation so people could talk openly. If you want to express how you're feeling, no matter what way, you can. Yeah, Jamal. I mean, and creators aren't gonna, it's just like normal people. Like, you're not gonna like everybody. People aren't gonna like, and I've talked about this many times. People aren't gonna like me for whatever reason. It's not my mission to make them like me, though. And it should be no one's mission to make any one or select few people like you, because at the end of the day, some people are just not going to be happy with you no matter what you do. You could be the most generous, caring, loving person in the world, and somebody out there still isn't going to like them. I mean, that's just life. It really is. He blocked you from commenting because you watch A2. See, but that's just, how is that normal behavior for a creator to do? But he's not, he will say he's not forming an echo chamber. If you're blocking other people from commenting just because you know that they, which is weird, how, unless you made a statement saying that you watched that creator, is he or someone like within whoever, his moderating group, whatever, are they going and like watching where these other channels that they know BX doesn't like, just to see who's in those chats, to like say, hey, this person may not be loyal? I mean, that's really problematic and concerning behavior for any person to do. That's a concern. Diane, you said it did start with the Michael Long. Okay. He seems to fight with anyone he gets in contact with. I mean, to some degree, I see that. Someone says he hadn't done his research. I mean, I don't know how much he's done his research stuff, but I know when he has criticized me and talked about our situation, he clearly didn't watch the videos that he claimed he watched, because he continues to say, in the last time I was mentioned, he continues to say that I made 3 videos in a 24-hour period. And I have proven that that wasn't the case multiple times, but that's what narrative he wants to push, because he wants to push that I was an obsessive, crazed fan of his, and I'm off my rocker. He doesn't want to address the other content that I do, which is fine. I mean, that's because he's trying to push out to people not to come to my channel, probably because he doesn't want them to see the truth, and because he doesn't want them to see who I really am, which, whatever, like, do what you want. I've gotten used to the fact that that's what he's going to do. I just hate that I know other people are now experiencing it. Yeah, I agree. Having mental illness is not an excuse for shitty behavior, but it can be an explanation. And it really is up to that person to have the self-awareness to address those issues. Yeah, Jamal, you can, if you just want to DM me. Yeah, I agree that there's a lot of childish stuff happening where people are saying they're okay with opposing sides, or that they don't want to have an echo chamber, but then clearly their channel appears to be an echo chamber. I think some of that is not intentional by the creator. I think some of it is because people are afraid to speak out for whatever reason, whether it's because they're afraid that they're going to get targeted, because people have way too much time on the internet right now with COVID. Even still, a lot of people are on restrictions, are having to work from home and things like that. So they're having more time to be online. People, in my opinion, are experiencing more depression and anxiety right now because it's been a year that people have been having to adjust how they live and how they interact with people. So you're automatically kind of in a negative space when that happens. And then you see something and you hear something and it gets your emotions firing. So then whereas maybe a year ago you wouldn't engage with the negativity, right now you feel like that's your only outlet. So you are engaging in it. I don't know if that thought fully came out the way I wanted it to. You are also okay, you are a creator. I apologize. Um, yeah, I mean, some things just go a little bit too far. You think it was tasteless, the thumbnail he made? Almost all of his thumbnails, if it deals with another content creator, your thumbnail's supposed to grab the attention of the audience. And I agree it's tasteless. He's done it with almost every creator he's talked about. He makes sure that they look unappealing or that it is very chaotic. That way people will click on the video. You think he's a man baby? I mean, his maturity level from what he is showing recently, in my opinion, is not where it should be. He's the same age as I am, and he acts like he's 12 at times. Even as a creator, yeah, I think a lot of times as creators, when you have a maturity level of a certain degree, you kind of just step away from all of the drama and don't pay attention to it. That's, at least that's what I have done, is I've not really paid attention. A lot of the information that I now have about how behaviors have continued with this particular creator is because people tell me, hey, did you see he did this? Did you see he did that? And curiosity gets the best of me and I'll go start watching it. I mean, that's just me being honest. I'm trying to make sure I'm reading most of the chat, but I see I'm getting lost. So if you say something and I don't read it or I don't acknowledge it, please, unfortunately, just re-comment it. I try to not make people do that, but it's moving quicker than what I thought it would today. He has people doing his research. I don't know if he does. I mean, Advent, you might know more than me, but I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with creators having a team, an official team helping them, but I hope that they are vetting that. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, you can have somebody pull the information for you, but if it's not factual information and it's opinion based, I think that the creator needs to be going back and making sure that it's what was provided is factual and not an opinion, because that's when you run into issues and you can get called out on having incorrect information. Captain T, I'm pretty sure that that is exactly what's happening, but I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion and how I had received a lot of the very nasty negative issues that I had came from some of his moderators. And that was part of the issue, was I was saying that I think moderators can be a reflection of the creator. And he took that as me going at his moderator, which wasn't the case. I had an experience with the moderator that was very rude and negative, and I was just addressing that blanketedly. And because I was addressing it and they called themselves out on who I was speaking about, and then I tried to have a conversation with that person, it came to be to him that I was judging that person, which wasn't the case. I was just making an observation, which I still hold true to. I think your moderators are a reflection of you and other people's chats. We've seen dramas continue to happen because of how moderators of people's chats behave and things that they say to other creators. So clearly, I'm not the only one with that thought process. Yeah, things have definitely changed within YouTube than how it used to be. And honestly, I think a lot of it is impacted by COVID and people being uh, at home more and on the internet more than they used to be. Toxic creators attract toxic mods. I mean, toxic people in general can attract other toxic people. It's a matter of a pattern of behavior is really where you can see the toxicity, especially with this particular creator, is if you look at the patterns of behavior. And I mean, he's not the only one. There's multiple content creators who are toxic, you know. You have to look at their behavior over a matter of time. If a content creator, we're all people, we all make mistakes, things happen. We may make a slip up. We may, say something that the majority of people don't agree with, whatever it may be. Accidents happen. But if it's a part of who you are, it would be a pattern. And at this point, with this creator, there's a pattern. There's a very foreseeable pattern that is traced back. And I will encourage you guys to go watch Xylie's channel because she is showing the pattern. I don't know if that's her intention. I don't know, what the push for her to continue to do the series 100% is, but she has gone about it in a way that is just receipts. Let's have a conversation. This is what I have. What do you think? How do you feel about it? These are my opinions. What are yours? And she's gone through it with each time she has come across something. So she really has the documentation to show that this isn't a new behavior. This is a pattern for him, which to me states that he is very negative. And I'm going to say here, there's nothing wrong, particularly with being a negative individual. We all have people in our lives, in our families even, that are pessimistic, that are negative personalities. The problem comes when there is manipulation and targeting to where the negativity is being spread and encouraged to be spread. That's more of where my issue with this particular creator has started to form. Don't get on Xylie's bad side. She'll get you. Yeah, I admire Xylie for her. I always try to be transparent and real with you guys and honest. But I mean, certain things that I talk about, like situations like this, I try to maintain some of my feelings and keep some of them to myself, because it does no good if I'm going to sit here and say that I think bxbeastboy is a piece of shit. But the way that Xylie talks about things and has everything set up, her opinions are very clearly her opinions, and she is able to distinguish that and have healthy, good conversations, even if she's upset, even if she's cursing, even if, she's getting pissed off because of what she's having to make people see to a degree. I admire that. Yeah, he was doing it before behind the scenes a lot, and now it is being more, he's not hiding it anymore. And I don't know if it's because there are creators who are speaking out now, or if it's just because he's maybe trying to get attention and this is how he's trying to do so. I'm not sure. Only he can answer that question. Beast Boy has done quite a few things, Dragon. Like I said, I will be linking my last video that has even more videos linked if you want to go back through and really catch the history not only of myself but of other creators. You can do so. I'm not gonna rehash everything that happened with me or with anyone else. This is more just to have a conversation about particular behaviors that are concerning. Hey, Britt, how are you? Hey, Tom. Yeah, Xylie Gets Real is funny that her YouTube name is Get Real, because she does get real. She gets on that real level with you. Dragon, and it may not even be that you've missed it. It could be that it got deleted because he purges his content. Yeah, I've told my story a few times. I've told it more times than I would like to. I'm not going to rehash that because this is just an opportunity to allow everybody to come together and discuss everything, to be able to move on, and hopefully this will give closure to a lot of people to move on. And I'm not expecting it's going to give closure to everybody, but I'm hoping it will help some people just like understand and clearly see that they're not the only ones who maybe have been impacted by this creator's negativity and targeting. He purged again. Yeah, I know. I saw that. That was sent to me. I don't know what he purged, but that's his pattern. Like, he calls out a ton of people, he gets on people's bad sides, and then he deletes all of the content and then comes out with a video or a live stream saying whatever he wants to say, that he experienced something bad or he was going through a rough place, which as humans, we all kind of go and experience bad things and have hard moments in our lives. I don't think that you should use that as a scapegoat or as a way to sad fish, to use a term he uses, your audience, and to try and excuse your poor behavior away and try to use it as an excuse if you were in a bad place. I was in a bad place for like 2 months, hence why there's like hardly any content on my channel for the last 2 months. I didn't come to my channel and tell you guys I'm, sad fishing you guys about it. I don't think that that's something that is of a healthy environment to breed for your subscribers or yourself. Could have been deleted, actually laughed out loud. Yeah, I mean, Xylie has said he doesn't actually delete his content, that she has found he particularly likes to unlist the content. That way, if anybody has the link or has saved the link, they can still watch it. Therefore, he's still gaining money off of it. But at the same time, he's a YouTube creator who, I believe, last I knew, this was the only way he was making income. So I don't 100% blame him for that. But it's still weird behavior. He deleted his Twitter and his Discord. I don't exactly know why or what triggered that. All I know is that he did delete it, and it seemed to be that maybe it was, I don't know if it was at the cost because he had just gone after several creators that had done nothing but support him. I don't know if that was the trigger for it or if something else had happened that nobody knows about. I don't know. I am 100% fine now, which is the only reason why I even mentioned that I was struggling, because I try to have a level of maturity to not put my issues out on to the internet unless they've already been dealt with. So I am fine. I appreciate that, though. Can I be 100%? I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. When I first saw a video of his saying sad fishing, I laughed and I thought he was trying to coin this new term. I don't know if I don't know who created it, but I find it's a weird term. It's just weird. And the behavior that is explained by what sad fishing is, I think should be labeled something a little bit more serious, because sad fishing is manipulating and using people. Like, sad fishing seems to be a softer version of scamming. Let's just call them scammers rather than sad fishers. That's just my opinion. Manipulating, yeah. All right, guys, so we have been on here for an hour. I don't want to start repeating myself, which is kind of what I feel like I'm starting to do. So if anybody has anything that you want to be talked about or where you're at with everything, feel free to go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm probably going to stay on for another 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm going to hop off of here. I appreciate everybody who has been here and for everybody's respectfulness to one another. Part of the nervousness going into live streams where can be chaotic. It's always a good feeling to know things didn't get out of hand. So I appreciate everybody for having respect for each other and for each other's opinions. So if anybody has anything that you'd like to say, you can leave it in the comments. If you weren't able to make the live stream, I'm going to try to, be pretty interactive in the comment section. But I am going to go ahead and head off of here for today, at least in regards to this. I may do some crafting lives later. I'm not sure. But I am going to go ahead and scoot. Thank you all so much. I hope sorry, my dog is in here. I hope everybody has a good rest of their Friday. And if you need anything, feel free to DM me or email me. So I hope everybody has a good day. Bye.